But obviously, everybody knows about the Drake and Kendrick Lamar situation, right? So I just want to know, in y'all personal opinion, who do y'all feel like won from a marketing standpoint, and long term, who do you think is going to benefit from it more after this whole situation? So, Bernardo, you want to start with you? You're at the top, sir.
I personally like Kendrick's, and like the question was between like Drake and Kendrick Lamar. So I don't know about
Mhm.
these other people. I mean, I know Rick got in there a little bit, and said some stuff, but I mean, it was really it's like the homies jumping in, into the fight. But I like Kendrick's, rendition or bars of everything that I just felt like it stuck, like it's staying better, it was felt felt pain for Drake, personally speaking. I don't really like Drake, and I think that his music has gone down,
Mm.
so I don't know, that's just my opinion. I don't really listen to a lot of this stuff anymore, to be honest with you. So I'm probably the wrong
Hmm.
person to ask, but I did listen to some, and what I did like was Kendrick's. So
Got you.
to answer your question,
So I'm gonna say I think both of them won because they got more publicity by jumping in the flame. And I'm gonna go in for the the light skinned brothers.
Light skins unite.
It, Drake. Definitely he was taking on all comers. But lyrically, Kendrick Lamar. He had to spit some fire. He's known for that. But I just feel like they both won. But I'm gonna give it just by default to the light skinned brother.
Listen, I got to jump in with what Terry said. Power to the people, Terry. Power to the people. When this battle first started, I am a huge J. Cole fan. Like, I love J. Cole. I think he is so talented. I think he's super underrated. And the fact that he like bowed out within the first, like he's like, this is not my beef. Like, I don't want anything to do with this. Like, I respect that. I think all three artists are so respected and so like great in their own lanes, and they stay in their own lanes. I think Drake is the kind of music you listen to in the club. You turn it up, you're getting wild. Kendrick is like, we about to go protest again, So I think it's a different vibe for different folks, but they're both so talented. And I think to what you said earlier, Adam, like we got to see, and what Terry said, everybody won, because now who even cares about Rick Ross? Like, now we're talking about him, now he's relevant again. Metro Boomin got in there as well, and he's relevant. I think Drake has been number one for when it comes to popularity, when it comes to downloads of songs, when it comes to money, he outranks all of them. So I think it just helped him be Drake and really actually have music that challenges him versus, just some beats, every once in a while. And I think it just made Kendrick Lamar relevant again. And I think Kendrick Lamar is super talented. I love all his music, but he's not mainstream like Drake is. You hear Drake everywhere you go. So I think it helped them all. But Family Matters went off. Like he said, you've been engaged to the same woman for 15 years. What are you doing? But you over here talking about dark skin, but yet your woman's light skin AF. Like, it was just crazy. It was like crazy deep. And then he called every single person out. Crickets. It was great. I loved it. So you go, Drake. You go with your light skin. You
go. One last thing though. I think a lot of people hating on Drake because Drake is profitable. And he is on top. So I think a lot of the hate that came towards him is because a lot of people felt some kind of way about him winning all the time.
Right.
So
right.
That's
and I love when they talked about Kendrick's like, when you say nigga, it makes me cringe. Like, it makes me cringe. And then he said it every bar, every line. It was great. So, but it makes me really sad too to see two really talented Black artists like fight each other over like, and I guess fight is not the right word, battle each other over who's dark and who's light. Like, y'all both Black. It's okay. Like, y'all can both be Black and exist in the same space and thrive and be y'all. And y'all are just two different artists, So I'm done. I'll sit here and talk about this all day. You hear me? So I know what's going on, Courtney.
That was my take. But Courtney, you ride, and then I'll round off because my take is completely different than everybody's.
I have too much to say. So I just, okay, let me summarize it this way. Number one, this literally could be the podcast for the rest of the time because I feel like there's so many layers to all of it. Number one, rap beef in general is a part of like the hip hop culture, and it took a turn, a shift, right? Because obviously the first like monstrous one was like Biggie and Tupac, and these guys died at the end of it, right? So it's like, what's the end result? What are we trying to gain from having rap beef? If it's just for popularity's sake, like we're tussling back and forth, I mean, Drake is the bigger artist. So there's always the one big artist like Jay-Z when it was versus Nas, who everybody's coming up against that guy. But nobody remembers the other people, right? Rick Ross isn't the level of rapper as Drake and Kendrick Lamar. The Weeknd isn't a rapper, right? So those other verses aren't relevant. When it comes down to it, it's always Kendrick Lamar versus Drake. And J. Cole just happened to catch a stray because of there's no big three, it's just Big Me. So he's got to respond. And I really agree with you, Sydney, that J. Cole, I was ready for that spar because 7 Minute Drill or whatever the song was so good. I was like ready for this to be a part of the hip hop culture. But because he bowed out, and maybe I'm, older now, and I'm like, okay, I respected J. Cole. And then everybody's like, J. Cole's a B. You don't ever mention him being the GOAT again if he's bowing out, right? But then, thank God he did, because it took a turn for the worse. Both of these guys are like dragging all of this personal, like family type stuff into it that now it doesn't even feel fun anymore. It's like, how is this going to end? And then Drake's house gets shot. It's like, now we're going back to the Tupac Biggie style of like, and personally, I think Drake set that up because he's a phony. I'm just going to say it. I think that I just knew something like that was going to happen because Drake, unfortunately, is not the culture. He is a pop artist who raps, and that's okay. I like his music, but Kendrick Lamar is the culture. So to your point, Sydney, about the N-word and all this other stuff, you do have friends who can hang out who are Black, and as Black people, we're like, I don't know, right? And that's Drake. And it's okay. He's cool. He can rap. He can ghostwrite. He can use other ghostwriters, whatever. But he is kind of a vulture a little bit. And it's like, why do you choose to? I don't know. So, and then the last thing I'm going to say about it, the other layer of this is how big it did get because, again, hip hop is so mainstream now. It is pop culture. This stuff is being reported in the news. Yes. People are talking about the music and what's going on. Teachers are getting their kids engaged because we're all on social media now. I mean, it's just like literally a hot topic that everybody wants to discuss. But again, I think going to my first point is, what was the end result? What did we want to come out of it? And the reason why I think I like personally Kendrick is because it seemed like he literally just had a vendetta. He doesn't like this guy and he's keeping it real and he's keeping it street, which is hip hop. Where Drake is just like trying to have fun, but now his ego is bruised and he's like, how am I going to get out of this? Shoot up the house.
Bro, I can't believe he just came Drake like that with no evidence he shot up his own house.
That's a good response.
It's a lot that went on with that. One, battle rap hip hop was kind of started on battle rap. So as far as them going at each other and stuff, they saying it's nothing because they've been doing that. They've been taking shots and everything else. That's just the nature of the game. Like right now they have an industry called battle rap where all they do is say the most degrading stuff in the name of lyrics. So that's nothing. Next, there has always been an agenda as far as light skin, dark skin. Even if you go back to school days, the movie School, they had jigaboos and wannabes. So they've been doing stuff like that. So this ain't nothing new. When it comes to that, it could be a competition between the two because at the end of the day, hip hop is winning because we got two of the dopest lyricists trading bars with each other. Now, if you think about back in the day, Kanye and 50 Cent went at it one time on who was going to sell the most records in a week. And that was one of the most successful weeks there ever was in hip hop, as far as first week sales. So sometimes it'd be an agenda, because right now, if you think about it, Kendrick Lamar's song #1, and it's a diss record. And the song is jamming. Even though it's a lie, it's based on a lie. Like, Drake even came out and said that he gave him false information. Like, he put it out there and the dude made a song about it. So if you do all that, like, then, and it's hot and people don't care because it's hot, at the end of the day, like, it's really ain't gonna matter. So as far as who winning right now, I say Kendrick's definitely in that ass, but I mean, Drake, the reason why he came outside, if it wasn't for him. So like, it's, at the end of the day, hip hop is winning. I think it slowed down when that dude got shot, like the bodyguard got shot. They messed it up because Kendrick got 5 more songs. Like, they all got rebuttals. So I think it's the nature of hip hop. Yes, Drake is corny, but you can't deny his affiliate. Like, yeah, he's from Canada, but his dad is from Memphis. That puts him in a different perspective because he's from Memphis. So that gives him his ties, you know, his street cred, so to speak. And he could rap his ass off, and he destroyed Meek Mill. So even though he lost to Pusha T, he destroyed Meek Mill.
Don't bring Meek Mill into this.
Well, no, hold on that time. Hey, look, I let y'all speak. You know what I'm saying? Hold that. You know, that's how you say nothing. So, but when it's all said and done, like, after he got that off back to back and made Pusha T come out and do that to him, like, so he always been in the game, and plus everybody hate him. Like, he ain't fell off. Like, he has been the man for years. So of course people gonna want to come at the top. So, and they always been 2 dope lyricists. So this is the nature of the game. Like, you're gonna have to battle for the top spot. Jay-Z and DMX used to battle all the time for King in New York. 50 came in and tried to go at that too. So this is just the nature of the beast. Like, only the strong gonna survive. So yeah, we gotta have this. This is important for hip hop, in my opinion.
Only the strong will survive with them glasses.
Soldier Boy said to
Yo, don't get me started, Speedos. Hey, Speedos. Hey, I bet you got a rainbow set of Speedos looking at. Hey, shut up.
There y'all go. Okay. Keep going.
So, I think my take's a little bit different. I was actually educated and made me think about, like, what Fig was talking about, how, like, hip hop is kind of built on this rap battle, this beef. So I think that, you know, hip hop won. Unfortunately, I think just like the Black community lost, because it's teaching individuals that there's this level of, like, you have to it's the whole crabs in the bucket thing. To get better, to get higher, you need to downgrade and you need to degrade your counterpart, right? And I know that's kind of the nature of hip hop, where, you know, it's like the Eminem, you know, 8 Mile type of energy and things like that. And that's how hip hop has grown. Unfortunately, what it's doing is it's bleeding over into other areas of business and of life. And I mean, we literally see it, the crabs in the bucket thing, right? It's like, hey, one's going up. You need to talk smack about one other just to bring yourself up, you know? And to Courtney's point, it literally brought up why now it's affecting health, right? Like, some security guard was shot because of this stuff, right? Now, I don't know if that's the end all be all reason or how we adjust that, but I don't like how the story of it, right? I don't like the story that, hey, I don't like that people have to beef for people to win, right? Hip hop won, but I think the Black culture lost.
I think it's perspective. Because if you, when it comes to hip hop was birthed because of anger. Like, there was a way of people expressing themselves in a way they've never been able to do before. So it started off as an art form of them getting out their frustrations and everything that was going on. And they just happened to turn into hip hop, which became global, and other ethnicities started to jump on it. But that was initially for Black expression. So I think it gives people an avenue on being able to express themselves culturally without the violence, because there is some positive aspects of it. But I think as far as this culture and everything is concerned, like, you got to go at the record labels if we're going to go that far. But as far as just the base level type, like, I mean, I think to be able to express yourself that way, to get yourself and your family to a different place is a gift. So I think how they use the gift should be the question. But if they have a gift, I mean, there are some talented people who use that as a way to kind of get themselves to a different place. That's all I'm saying.
And I think Courtney said it right? Like Drake is a pop artist, right? When I think of Drake, I don't think of angry hip hop, like to Fig's point. I think of like Kendrick Lamar raps about real stuff. Like he raps about the Black community and he raps about like the past and where we're going and all these things that embody the Black community. And then they go after, and I do believe they went after Drake for no reason. He said one lyric and then everybody got upset and then they're like, oh my God, Drake. But to all of our points, people go after Drake because he is number one. He got an ego. He ain't gonna sit around and let you sit there and talk crap about him, but he's not built I don't think he's built to really go hard, And again, I think, all these battles he did and I think he did really well. But when you think about Drake and the pillar of our community, he is pop. He is like the anthem you're going to play when you're at the club. He's not something you're going to like feel that passion that Fig talks about, that like Biggie and Tupac and, even 50 Cent, Jay-Z songs go hard. I wouldn't put Drake in that same category, but
Drake is built for this. He's Drake absolutely built for this.
But hold on, but he knows he won't sell buku records like that. So I feel like
Drake
had But no. I'm saying as an artist that is so hard, right? He's no Meek Mill. Meek Mill actually went to jail. So don't come for Meek Mill like that. And
okay, but he destroyed Meek Mill. Okay.
I don't even
he destroyed Meek Mill. Okay. Look, back to back is still ringing bells, okay? So Drake ain't scared. And plus those songs, listen, the songs that Drake put out in his beef with Kendrick Lamar are dope. Okay. That freestyle that he got with Snoop and Pac is banging. Okay, like he got some hits, but they just ain't over. That's all I'm saying. It's not over. Trust me, they both got some stuff coming.
Right, but I think Drake when he chose. No, I didn't say Drake ain't built for this, but I think Drake chose to be an artist. He didn't choose to be the artist that Kendrick Lamar or J. Cole or Jay-Z is. Like that's a different artist. He chose to be the fun, light skin number one. Braids and women and booze. Like he raps about women and baby mamas, like and all kind of things. He doesn't rap about what the Black culture is doing and where we're going. But I do think he shows up and shows out when it comes for the battle. So that's all.
Now I'm getting another example. Chris Brown. Chris Brown is an R&B dude. Time out. He sings, okay? He got a diss song about Quavo from the Migos and destroys him. Okay, he destroys him in that song. And look, and then at the end of it, he goes, "You're getting body by a singing dude." And I'm talking about like destroyed him. Okay, and Chris Brown is a singer. Talk about getting the booty and all that other stuff. Take me down, privacy in my bed, all that other stuff. Okay, and when he got on that mic, he destroyed Migos. Okay, like
I can't even talk about that. I'm
just saying, like it's
ratchet ass.
So I got a couple points that I want to make. I said I wasn't going to get involved, but I am going to get involved. I always like to be the opposite to cause some type of controversy, I guess, so to speak. The first thing is it is Mental Health Month, right? And I do like to talk about that too as well. I think J. Cole did the right thing because you got to do what's best for you, right? I mean, they're showing pictures of him on the beach. It's funny because I wasn't even in the rap beef, but I was still up late at night. Like, when's the next song coming? When's the next song coming? When's the next song coming? I was like into it that much. So I know J. Cole is happy with the outcome, regardless of what people said about him. And then when he drops his next album,
like a sucker.
You don't listen. But it don't matter though, because when he drops his next album, it's gonna be good, and then people are gonna forget about what happened. The second thing is, I think. Hold on, Fig. I think Kendrick is a way better artist, right? But I listen to more Drake. I just think, as you can say, stand on business. I think it's corny when you say somebody is corny, but in the beginning, everybody wants you on your song. Everybody wants to work with you, right? But then when it doesn't go your way, oh, now he's corny. That's whack. That's like the wackest thing ever. Like, I think that's terrible.
Go ahead.
So I want to know what y'all perspective is on that, because again, everybody's like, "Oh, he's corny, he's not culture." But 5, 10 years ago, everybody wanted him on their song. Everybody's hanging with him. Everybody got pictures with him. In general.
So this is what I was going to say, because I did want to say something about that, because Terry brought it up. Like, one thing that I've learned throughout this whole thing is that Drake purposely put other artists on when he was already on, right? So Kendrick Lamar, A$AP Rocky, and some other people, right? And that is cool.
21 Savage.
What we don't know is who he is behind all of that, right? So maybe he was trying to like, let me put these people on, but he could still be a snake, right? You guys have ever gotten close to somebody and then you're like, this person actually doesn't like me, or they are not real, but to the public, they're doing the right thing. And then over years, I mean, his music is not aging well with the whole pedophile kind of thing, right? Why are you texting Millie Bobby Brown? That's weird, right? Why are you groom? And we know men groom teenagers, right? To get them whatever. So my point is, Drake probably does like rap. He is a good rapper. He can write songs for people, and we know that. And he probably did initially want to put people on, but he disses Rihanna. And we know publicly he used to love her. So why are you throwing shots at her? I think he is an insecure man. And once he gets to a place where he just like doesn't like what other people are doing or whatever, he probably is like on the back end doing crap that is like not cool. But to the public, it's like people coming for him. But he's a snake. That's my opinion based on how he does the, what is it, like the shots that aren't direct. That's
indirect shot.
Yeah. To your point, Courtney, they were saying that was one of the things that he did as his marketing tactic. He would jump on all the newest, hottest artists, so it would look like he's trying to do them a favor, but in reality, that was his way of staying relevant by jumping on all the newest artist songs. So I see your point on that too as well.
Okay, so as far as him doing that, yes, but it was both ways. Like, yeah, he ate off staying relevant, but he gave them dudes shots and hits that they wouldn't have had if it wasn't for that. So it's both hands are open. Okay, next, just because you corny, okay, so that's just like people that we work with that we wouldn't hang out with outside of working. They may be supremely talented, but outside of work, I don't know if I really hang out with you. You know what I'm saying? It might not be my type of crowd. You know what I'm saying? So he always been corny, y'all. Drake been corny forever. Okay, he just a really talented person, you know. But he could be called a culture vulture. But at the end of the day, he's from Canada, so like he'll always be a threat when it comes to stuff like that because he ain't a true Brooklyn, you know, from a normal place where you know me doing hip hop and everything. But at the end of the day, like he always been corny. Like ain't nobody really like he always been like that. But he just is a very talented person. And Kendrick Lamar, corny. He just don't go outside. But he got so much affiliation and so much ties to the streets, but he really had to do nothing. So like like I said, it ain't over. I think it's good for the game. Like I don't know if he a snake, but it would have came out if he was a snake because he discovered The Weeknd, he discovered Party Next Door. Like it would be a lot of stuff that he has done that you would know about. Like anybody talking about like he with Lil Wayne and Nicki. So like anybody talking about them, but at the same time, Nicki's slick little hater too. So maybe they all learning how to be snakes because she low key be doing some stuff from what I'm hearing. But you know, at the end of that, like I said, it's good for hip hop. I can't wait to see it once it die down because they had us itching. Like before we went to sleep, another one dropped. Then next thing you know, Kendrick dropped 3 more. Like so, I'm looking forward to seeing what this 10 gonna be from him. I think it's gonna be exciting.
Hey, I wanna comment on what Adam just talked about because we really didn't hit on what Adam talked about. You know, we kind of like went back to the beef. It was like crazy to me the fact that we didn't hit on what he was talking about. And I think it's very important to understand what he just said. The message that I think he was talking about is the fact that you can be corny because you want peace versus you know. You want instead of creating a hostile environment. So just because that man wanted peace the society that we live in looks at it as he's corny or he bowed out. The actuality is, sometimes peace is way more important than than all that evil that you bring into your space. Because I always tell people all the time, a relaxed mind is a productive mind, and so he wanted to be relaxed so he can focus on things that's going to make him better and make people around him better versus being able to dive into that foolishness that those guys had going on. But he's corny because he don't want to get involved. Which
no, he jumped out the game. If that's the case, he should have never jumped in the game. You don't drop no 7-minute song and then leave. I'm sorry, I take it all back.
Big, let him finish.
I wasn't done, and that's the kind of stuff that get me active when I wasn't done, and you just jumped in there to tell me about what he just did.
Go ahead, my brother. I say the same thing again. Go ahead, my bad.
So all I'm saying is the fact that the guy, it doesn't matter if he jumped in, he can still, sometimes you can act to something and still realize that you shouldn't do that, right? I know me personally, myself, I can speak from experience. Sometimes I would act on something, stand on business, and then realize sometimes the person that I'm standing on business for is not even worth the 2 cents in my pocket, right? So why even get involved? I have to realize that. So I kind of applaud J. Cole for bowing out because, hey, that's what, sometimes you can be a real human being and real man to realize I don't want to bring those kind of issues into my piece, my realm. So that's all I have to say about that. So I actually agree with Adam, and I think it's corny that the nation, society thinks he's corny for not acting, continuing on with the battle. So that's my point.
Okay, and I agree. That's good. Okay, so like with society, especially in the world that I grew up in with the fraternity and stuff like that, like if you don't want to do it, just don't do it. But you look worse if you start and stop. So he would have been straight if it would have just stayed neutral when Kendrick said what he said at him, and he ain't say nothing. But it was the fact that he jumped in the game, said something, and then before there was a response, he bowed out. That's where it looked crazy. But if he never would have jumped in the game, it's just like like in the fraternity world, if you drop, you look a lot worse than if you didn't start. So you shouldn't have jumped in it because now you look even crazier because if you wouldn't have said nothing, nobody would even brought you up about it.
I think the corny thing with J. Cole, or Adam, you said with Drake, right? And then you just happen to say with Mental Health Month, J. Cole's on a beach, kind of chilling, living his best life. I just want to clarify. You said it with Drake, right? Being corny?
Yeah, they were calling Drake corny, before. And then, after all of this, but before, when everybody wanted to work with him, he wasn't the corny guy.
Yeah, I think that is I don't know, like the internet's so trolly. You don't know if it's like a real person or if it's like bots over there just trolling someone just to troll them. I'll say something to the Drake thing and the Mental Health Month. Like not Drake, the J. Cole thing. Like I said earlier, I respected J. Cole. I think he did what was best for him. I love what you said. He's a real person, so he had to kind of figure out what was in his scope and what he wanted to deal with and what he wanted to take on. And the fact that like you don't let society sway your opinion is even better. Like, okay, cool. I think Drake is very influential and he's going to give the people what they want. So he's going to give somebody a great battle. He's going to give people what, we're sitting here. I mean, we played right into it, y'all. We're like you said, we're like sitting here waiting for an album, the song to drop. We're on YouTube streaming it, like we played into their game, and J. Cole's like, I ain't even playing this game. So I think he did what was best for him. And people had say, when people hate on Drake so hard, I'm like, dude, he is he's like the top of the top. So of course you're going to have haters on the top. Of course, now people are calling him corny. Like, let that man live. Like, it's really not that deep. And Mental Health Month, we should talk about that. That is a whole podcast in itself. I just want to say that because it is important to know your limits and your non-limits. And I think, Big, you go really hard behind hip hop because you know a lot about it. To me, this ain't hip hop. Like, this is like two artists fighting in pop music, and Kendrick maybe, but he also was on songs with Beyonce and on songs with other artists as well. But this ain't no Tupac and Biggie.
Drake is not pop. Right. Okay. So, yes. Okay. However, hip hop was born and created off of battles. So like this is its essence because this is what it's supposed to be just healthy. You're supposed to just be sparring with words. You know what I'm saying? Like some of the greatest things happen in hip hop were because of beefs, like the LL Cool J versus Cannabis beef. Like people still talk about that. That's a major beef that happened, but it changed the game. But like when it comes to this, like another thing too, last year I think was one of the first years that a hip hop record was a number one. And if you look at this now, like the fake or some fabricated information is the number one song this early. So I think this is I think it's a lot of people who got their hand in it, but at the end of the day, I'm all for it because I love lyrical content and the stuff that they're saying is dope. It's just different. Like, you know, the new music out now is trash. Like they ain't never gonna have nothing 15, 30 years from now people gonna remember. But I guarantee you 10 years from now, they still gonna be bumping that just like us. That song is jamming. Like, so it's just gonna create timeless stuff. And it sucks that they going at it, but I mean, they create music that we ain't forgetting.
Okay, I will comment on the mental health part of it because I think it goes back to what Akil said. You know, music is very influential and it is one of the things that Black people, we kind of own it, right? Entertainment is us. Anything we do, it becomes trendy and then it's just put out into the world. And I think our music affects our people more because we really hold on to like the lyrics. Even when we're not listening to the lyrics, you can listen to a song enough, the beat is good, and then all of a sudden you hear yourself singing the lyrics. On a spiritual level, you know, they say the devil was the conductor of music or whatever. I don't know where that is in the Bible, but I know I've heard that enough times. So I think to Big's point about just music just being out there, some of this stuff kind of is detrimental to our society, right? Because Chris Brown said, "We wished it was you, Quavo, that had died instead." And Crazy. Literally people, I've seen them say, Quavo's got to kill him, right? That was their opinion. Quavo has to now kill Chris Brown. And again, if we were in the 90s, maybe that would have been a thing. But now because hip hop is pop culture, now he's just posting like, I'm opening a restaurant, I'm in a movie, and we're going to forget all about this because it's not what it used to be. So I think we do have to protect our babies, right? What is this? Again, what's the end result? If it's just entertainment, okay, fine. But some of this stuff is like dangerous.
Yeah, to Courtney's point, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, I know Fed keep reference about how it used to be, but these ain't used to be kids. You know what I mean? Like these kids, literally everything you say, they take it to heart and they try to act on it, right? You know what I mean? Like, so they don't know the difference between, oh, we just having a rap battle or we need to actually act on it, right? So we got to be careful of what we intaking, what we putting into our minds, because, you know, a lot of people are mentally strong enough to be able to decipher what's good and what's bad. But you got a lot of idiots out here that can't do it, right? It's like what they hear is what they're going to do, right? So we got to be careful about, what it used to be, because these ain't used to be people. They're very different. They don't care about life. So they feel like they have to act. So I personally agree with Courtney on that.
I agree as well. And I also believe that that's why they have different lanes. So, for example, Common is a conscious rapper. So he's not going to say anything in that realm because there are different lanes of rapping. Like that's a kill or be killed lane that he was in. And I think he should have been in that lane because there are lanes of rap to where it's protected, conscious, it hypes people up, it uplifts the mind and everything else. So I think if that's what he wants to be, fine. If we want to fight that, just do your best to not expose them of that.
Just want to put it out there. Common had a diss song, again, I discovered in this, against Drake, and Drake said some other stuff, and Common was like, come see me, and it was gonna get violent. So like it's literally this bravado, male masculinity, y'all always trying to prove something, and then of course again probably the crabs in a barrel thing, right? Like it's just we do have to be better, because we're exposing ourselves to too many people who, to Terry's point, don't know when we're just like, it's like when we're all around each other at barbecues and we playing the dozens or roasting each other. Sometimes it's like mean, but that's us. That's how we are. That's how we get along. And people who aren't a part of the culture don't get it.
Again, I loved what happened. I think it was great for hip hop. I think it was great for fans. I think it was great for everybody to just bring attention to the whole situation. But to me, the sad part about it, again, and I loved it. I'm not gonna lie. I was one of the biggest fans of listening to every song, dissecting lyrics. I love all that. But I still think it's just sad for our culture too, at a way, because there's plenty of songs with all of them together, right? It didn't bring this much attention when it was positive, right? When everybody was working together. It had to come to something negative for everybody to start paying attention, to listen to it, and then all of a sudden now the whole culture is behind picking a person, but nobody was behind them before when it was something positive.